They thought she was just a fat farm girl. They laughed at her, mocked her, and trespassed on her land like it was a playground. But what they didn't know was that the same hands that milked cows and tilled the soil were also trained to pull a sniper trigger with deadly precision. And when they pushed her too far, the girl they thought was weak became the storm they never saw coming. The Sarah Whitlock had always been the target of cruel whispers. In town, whenever she walked down Main Street, she could feel eyes following her. Some laughed openly, others smirked behind her back. She wasn't the girl who fit in with the pretty cheerleaders or the polished rich kids. At 19, her frame was broad and heavy, the result of long farm days, endless chores, and a body that grew strong under labor, but never matched the world's shallow standard of beauty. They called her names: Cow, Hog, the fat farm girl. Even her kindness couldn't shield her from cruelty. Her farm was her safe space. Acres of golden fields, a weathered red barn, and the sound of cattle lowing at dawn. But lately even that sanctuary had been invaded. Local bullies, sons of wealthy landowners and kids who never worked a hard day in their lives, started sneaking onto her land. They would drive their trucks across her fields, crushing crops, tossing beer cans, and taunting her as she stood helpless at the fence line. One night, they tied one of her goats to a post and painted insults on its coat. Sarah found herself kneeling in the dirt, sobbing into the animal's fur, wondering why life had to be so cruel. She had no mother anymore. Cancer had taken her, and her father was too sick to fight battles. She carried the weight of everything alone. But what no one in that town knew was this: before her father's illness, before her mother's passing, Sarah had lived years away from the farm. Her uncle, her mother's brother, was a decorated Green Beret sniper. And after her mother's death, when Sarah spiraled into grief, her uncle took her under his wing for a year. He had trained her in survival, discipline, self-defense, and marksmanship. She wasn't just a farm girl. She was a fighter who had learned to keep that side of her hidden, until it was needed. And soon, it would be. One evening, as the sun dipped low and painted the fields in fire, Sarah heard the rumble of engines. 3 trucks pulled onto her property, headlights glaring. Laughter erupted. Empty bottles shattered against her barn. She stepped onto the porch, her heart pounding but her face steady. "Get off my land," she called out. The leader, Chad, a rich bully whose father owned half the county's dealerships, smirked. "Or what, piggy? You gonna cry to daddy? Oh wait, he's too sick to save you." The others roared with laughter. They weren't just trespassing now, they were breaking her. And Sarah felt the storm rising inside. She clenched her fists, remembering her uncle's words. "The world will see weakness in you, Sarah. But strength isn't what they expect. It's what you carry in silence, until the day you unleash it." That day had come. She looked straight at them, her voice calm and low. "Leave now, or you'll regret staying." The boys laughed again. But deep inside, they had no idea who they were taunting. The trespassers didn't leave. They got bolder. Chad jumped out of his truck, tossing an empty beer bottle at her feet. "What are you gonna do, farm cow? Sit on us?" Sarah's jaw tightened. She had promised herself she wouldn't fight back unless she had to. But this wasn't just about her anymore. It was about her land, her animals, her father's dignity. When one of them tried to grab a chicken from her coop, Sarah snapped. In 3 swift steps, she was on him. Her movements shocked even herself. Fluid, precise, exactly like her uncle had drilled into her. With one twist, she yanked his arm behind his back and dropped him to the dirt. His scream echoed through the field. The others froze. "What the hell was that?" One shouted. Sarah's eyes were burning now. "You came here thinking I was weak. That was your first mistake. Your second mistake was touching what's mine." The boys charged, 3 against 1. But Sarah wasn't just fighting, she was calculating. Her uncle's voice echoed in her mind. "Slow is smooth. Smooth is fast." She ducked a wild swing, drove her elbow into a gut, and sent another sprawling into the mud. The third tried to grab her from behind, but she pivoted, sweeping his legs with a farmer's strength and Green Beret precision. In less than a minute, 3 bullies lay groaning in the dirt, gasping for breath. Their laughter was gone. Their pride shattered. But Sarah wasn't finished. She crouched beside Chad, her eyes fierce. "You think being rich makes you powerful? Out here, money means nothing. Respect is earned. And you'll never get it by breaking others down." Chad swallowed hard, fear in his eyes. For the first time, he saw her not as the fat farm girl, but as something else entirely, an unstoppable force. Word spread fast in the small town. The story of Sarah Whitlock, the farm girl who fought back, echoed in hushed voices and wide-eyed retellings. Nobody dared step foot on her land again. And the bullies who once mocked her carried scars. Not on their bodies, but in their pride. Sarah stood taller after that day. Not because the bullies feared her, but because she had reclaimed something far more powerful, her dignity. She realized she didn't have to hide who she was anymore. Strength wasn't in pretending to be small. Strength was in standing tall, no matter what the world called you. And as she looked over her fields, her father weak but smiling at the porch, she knew one truth she wanted others to remember. They can call you names. They can try to break you. But the moment you rise, the moment you fight back with the strength they never expected, you win. The closing message. She wasn't just a farm girl. She was a protector, a fighter, and a reminder to us all. Never underestimate the one who looks quiet. Because inside them might live the strongest warrior of all.